Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. So, if you've been listening, I've been talking to business leaders across Asia. There are a lot of podcasts, business podcasts out there in the West, but I chose to speak to the experts here in Asia, especially from Malaysia. Today, I have someone that I invited from LinkedIn. And the reason why I invited him, I wanted to know more about this subject, renewable and sustainable energy. And especially now in Malaysia, there is this new topic, which is hydrogen, and I want to ask him a few questions on that as well. So I'll do a quick introduction, and you can find him on his LinkedIn. There's a lot of content on his LinkedIn profile that you can find. So I have here the CEO and Managing Director of M&A Energy, ENERGISE SDN BHD, Syed Faisal, here with us, and he actually leads the charge in driving e-mobility. Later, we'll ask him a bit about that as well. Renewable and sustainable energy products, biofuel, green hydrogen production, and a lot of many other things that is beyond my level of comprehension. So today I'm a beginner. I'm here to learn from the expert himself, which is Syed Faisal Algadrie. Syed, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bob. Thank you for inviting me. It's indeed a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. So to all my guests, my first question is this. So I actually don't know yet. I just told Syed about this question before the interview. So Syed, what is your favorite kung fu movie?
Ah, I was introduced into Kung Fu movies by Jackie Chan during my student days. So obviously my favorite is the first one that I watched, which was Jackie Chan's Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, and subsequently the Drunken Master series. So those are my favorite Kung Fu movies.
Was it so as a student, was it in university that you watched this?
I was in secondary school.
Ah, where was your secondary school when you watched this?
I was at Penang Science School in
Oh,
Bukit Mertajam.
okay. Bukit Mertajam, nice.
Yeah,
I was recently there as well, and good choice on the kung fu movie. So, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people, when they think about Jackie Chan,
yeah,
they will think about his later Hollywood work.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
before he made it in Hollywood,
yeah,
before the Police Story series,
yeah,
before
exactly.
everything, at the peak of his physique. So I remember Dragon Master, there's a
Yeah,
scene where he want to eat the rice, and then the
yeah,
Kung Fu Master don't let him eat the rice.
yeah. Right.
So it's very comedic.
Yeah, I like the banter between him and his Sifu. And it continued throughout the movie. If I'm not wrong, that the person who portrayed his Sifu was actually the director's father. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, but which I think that they have family still in the business, still in the especially in the martial arts business.
Wow, I didn't know that. So thanks for thanks for
If
sharing this.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. I don't think anyone knows as well. Maybe I'll do a Google search after today's interview. But it is very good. It is so classic. If you watch it, if you go to YouTube, I think you can find it.
Yeah,
It is shot, I believe, in the 80s. So the treatment and the cinematography is like 80s lah. It's like those old
yeah,
TV.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
built for the old TV.
yeah,
And you can see Jackie Chan, I believe, in his 20s
yeah,
then, and his
yeah.
peak physique where
Early 20s, yes.
he has a six pack and everything. The best, like if you see Jackie Chan with six pack,
Yeah,
that, that that is the series lah, the Dragon
yeah,
Master series,
yeah,
which is Jackie Chan's. I believe if we know Jackie Chan was a stuntman for Bruce Lee.
yeah. True.
Yeah, he used to be a stuntman for Bruce Lee, and the Master series put him on the map. That
Yes.
contributed to his future movies
Yeah.
successes and today. And one thing I really like about Jackie Chan is that he, being so famous already until
Mm.
today, Shai, he still
Yeah.
works very hard.
Yeah.
He still works every day. He's
One
like,
fun fact, actually, I met him personally.
what? Oh no.
Yeah, I met him 1992 or 93. They threw a farewell lunch for me, my company, I was working in. And then it was held at a hotel where Jackie Chan stayed in. So he and his entourage, about 4 or 5 of them, came down, and then we bumped into each other, and we sort of said hi. And well, obviously he was one of my idols growing up. So it was a chance meeting, but I still remember that 30 years on.
Sorry, what year was it again?
91 or 92, something like that.
That time there was no smartphones. So did you manage to
No,
take
no,
a
no
photo?
smartphones, nothing.
Photograph?
I think he was filming Police Story, possibly.
Where? Okay, can I? Is it a hotel in KL?
Yeah, it's Hotel KL. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Well, in the
Mm.
90s could be anywhere. I know there's one of his police stories. He shot in Dataran Merdeka.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, wow, you are my first guest, right? That has met Jackie Chan. So
Okay.
so
That's
that is
my
something.
claim to fame.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've never had anyone who I met that met Jackie Chan before.
Oh, I,
So
well, so that now you know who the famous people are, where we
thank you, Syed. So the first question I have for you is maybe share with us more about your role with M&A Energy.
Hi, thanks, Bob. Um, I'm the managing director and co-founder of M&A Energy. We started the company. This company is involved in energy storage and also electric mobility. Obviously, we had the pure intention of trying to preserve the environment, and we feel that there's a way to address the environmental concerns by being involved in this industry, because it helps to reduce greenhouse emissions, it improves air quality. At the same time, it also improves energy efficiency, and most importantly, which we are reducing dependence on fossil fuels. So that is why we started this company. I then founded ENERGISE. ENERGISE is involved in bioenergy production. If you're wondering why bioenergy is actually a form of renewable energy. It is renewable energy which is derived from biological or organic materials or biomass. Bioenergy is an important facet of renewable energy, so much so that Malaysia identified bioenergy as one of the 6 energy transition levers to achieve our net zero target. At ENERGISE, we produce green hydrogen, we produce advanced biofuels, biochar, and also we can also produce electricity from sustainable agricultural residue.
Thank you, Syed. That is thank you for sharing that. Like I remember, like it's almost that you bring me back to high school. So I was not a very good student, but in class I remember things like biomass,
Oh,
and
good, good.
yeah,
A lot of people don't know what biomass is, but
yeah.
it's actually natural or organic material, so that's what we consider biomass.
So you're saying number one, the M&A, you're helping companies to transition to energies like biomass, bioenergy was the word you use. And then for the energize is more to get
Yeah,
them onto hydrogen energy.
yes.
By green.
Hydrogen is also part of is also another is part of bioenergy.
Oh,
Mm.
okay,
Well,
good. So
just to correct you just now, M&A Energy more on electric mobility, so that we reduce cars that are dependent on fossil fuels. But with ENERGISE, we are into more bioenergy. Again, another form of renewable energy.
so this
The bottom line is to help address the environmental concerns. For us, for me, having children, you want to leave the world a better place for your children. So we're trying to do our bit by participating in this industry.
Thank you for doing your part, Syed. So maybe I like to, as a bad science student, let me ask the
Okay.
question again, right? So I will ask the question again. So,
Mhm.
um, what is the difference then between these two companies? One I know is electric mobility. Is the other
Yeah.
one trying to introduce new energy sources? So what is the difference?
Okay. This might be a little bit controversial.
Mm.
Electric mobility at the moment is quite a controversial area because the grid is still not deemed to be clean. So what you're doing is you're powering your electric vehicles through the grid, which comes from which mainly comes from fossil fuels. So if I'm not going to go into the details here, but everyone is trying to do their bit. We haven't achieved full green energies as yet, but uh, with bioenergy we can do more because it is a form of renewable energy. When you say renewable energy, is actually defined as an energy that's derived from natural resources like sun and wind and biomass in our case. But most importantly, these are energies that can be replenished at a higher rate than they are consumed. So that's very important because with sunlight and wind, for example, these are constantly being replenished. So renewable energies sources are actually plentiful and all around us.
Oh my God, I learned something new today. It should be being replenished faster than it's being used. So
Yes,
that is
yes.
something and thank you for that clarity, Syed. Actually, one of my previous guests,
Mm.
about 3 episodes when this is out before, is an energy
Mm.
consultant in Vietnam.
Ah,
And I
okay.
did learn a few things, but not as clear as what you just explained
Oh, that's good.
just now.
Thank you.
But
Right.
you added some points to him. He did share with me, what he does as an energy consultant. So,
Yep.
maybe let me ask a more simple question.
Mm.
Like, what are the differences between hydrogen and the what you said bioenergy? Is it made from each other or how does it work?
Hydrogen is also one of the bioenergies because it's also an alternative fuel because alternative fuels are um, they are non-conventional, so they are fuels that are derived from sources other than petroleum. I mentioned just now about fossil fuels because I think people uh, still can't quite understand what fossil fuels are. Very simply, fossil fuels are coal, oil, and gas. This
Mm.
mainly coal, oil, and gas. So these are non-renewable resources. So these are resources that took hundreds and millions of years to form. So when you burn fossil fuels to produce energy, you cause harmful greenhouse gas emissions like carbon dioxide. So when you generate renewable energy, you create far less lower emissions than burning fossil fuels. So that's what we plan to do. But to transition from fossil fuels, which actually obviously it lion's share of emissions, that is the key from transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy. That's the key to addressing our current climate crisis.
Thank you, Syed. And yeah, thank you for sharing as well. This is in playing our part in making a better world for our children. And I believe our country's goal is also net zero by 2050. That
Yes,
means
correct.
there
Yeah.
is zero emissions. And companies like yours are paving the way and also, making a difference. So maybe can you share with us what are the challenges? We all know we want to get to net zero,
Yeah.
but we perhaps face some challenges along the way.
Oh, of course. Okay, where do I start? Globally, I think the renewable energy industry is making great significant strides towards a sustainable future. Obviously, as you mentioned, there are many challenges. We have cost problems. We need to overcome cost competitiveness. And with renewable energy, that's this problem. Although we have abundance of sunlight, solar, and wind, there's also this problem of intermittency because the sun doesn't shine all day and the wind doesn't blow all day. So we have to address those problems. Those are quite of the some of the challenges. And now what we're doing is to provide energy storage. So the energy that we harness when the sun is shining and the wind is blowing, we store it in either batteries or even hydrogen storage. So this is to help us store the excess energy and when it's generated, and then we release it when it's needed. There's also a problem of grid integration. What this means is that we already have an existing grid that is generally non-renewable. We need to integrate renewable energy into the existing energy grids, and this can be very complex. And what the world is also facing is also policy and regulatory hurdles, because this is something, obviously, most countries and even in Malaysia, we have inconsistent policies. We have regulatory barriers, and then sad to say there's political resistance sometimes, which can hinder the growth of renewable energy. In Malaysia, we face some unique challenges also, which because in Malaysia also we have a great reliance on coal and natural gas because we have an abundance of natural gas. We rely very heavily on natural gas for electricity generation. And then also in Malaysia, we have electricity subsidies because the government has historically, the government has provided subsidies for electricity. So this, as I mentioned earlier, this hinders the cost competitiveness of renewable energy sources because the non-renewable are so cheap. I don't want to go into details. There are some grouses that we in the industry have, but I do laud the current government for making a lot of making an effort, especially with the launch of the National Energy Transition Roadmap, which is to accelerate the energy transition in Malaysia.
Thank you. And yeah, I can feel you. I can feel you. But something interesting that I learned just now, that we need to store energy. Because I imagine, right, Malaysia, so I'm in KL right now. So it's almost like we have sun every day, but we still need to store it somehow.
Because, okay, technically, although we see the sun shining probably from 8 to 7, but you only have about 4 to 5 hours of actual effective sunlight that can be harnessed and that can be converted into electricity. So energy storage is what M&A Energy is doing. So we develop next-gen energy storage systems. We have a patent for that. This energy storage technology is developing very well. There are advancements within the energy storage, which allows energy to be stored faster, longer, energy density to be increased. So the future is bright because we have the technological advancements.
Yeah. Okay, the future is bright like this, like the sun. so
Yeah, it is.
so
Yeah.
but it's so interesting that I know now the actual time where you can harness the energy is only 4 to 5 hours. And I imagine in the, if let's say monsoon season and it's raining, you cannot harness also. Am
Yeah.
I right? Okay, wow. I learned so many things today, Syed. and and maybe can you share with us, maybe the next question I have for you is on the role of government. So you mentioned the National Energy Transition Roadmap, right? And then the role of
Yeah.
governments. So how does this help the industries, like your industry?
Um, Obviously, it's very important. The government policies and regulations are important to support the development of renewable and sustainable energy. Especially in if you look at Southeast Asia, and this is also reflected in Malaysia, the energy demand, so the demand for energy has increased at around 3 to 4% a year over the past decades. This actually has been driven by the economies that have actually doubled in size since 2000 in most of the Southeast Asian countries. So as you grow, there's a demand for energy. So there's the huge increase in energy demand is actually currently met by fossil fuels. And then this leads to even a greater increase in CO2 emissions, carbon dioxide emissions. So it's very important for governments in the region to set out long-term plans for a more secure and sustainable future. In Southeast Asia, especially, 8 of the 10 Southeast Asian countries have already announced net zero emissions and carbon neutrality targets. This is very important because if you don't set the targets, you can't make the plans to achieve those targets. Once you do that, then you can start the ball rolling. Malaysia and most of these countries, we have measures that have been introduced. For example, the feed-in tariffs, the power purchase agreements. These are something that guarantees a fixed price for renewable energy producers and long-term contracts. So by this, it incentivizes investment in renewable energy. And the governments are already providing incentives and subsidies like tax credits, grants, like low interest loans. These can actually reduce the financial burden for developers and investors in renewable energy.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the point where if you set the target, then you can make plans for it. And I think
Exactly.
one of the things that I see that you mentioned, and I relate it to my own experience or my own observations also. You said, oh, because the non-renewable energy is still subsidized, it is not, it is still
Yeah.
cheap. That's why people are not looking for alternatives. So one of the things in the recent budget in Malaysia is that they reduced the subsidy for for
Yeah.
consumer. At least I know
Yeah.
for consumer, which I think affects the industry
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
they reduce the subsidies for the higher usage of electricity, which I think does help here and there, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And another thing to add, apart from incentives, there must be uh, stick and carrot. Apart from the carrot approach, there must be a stick approach. There are governments they are already introducing carbon pricing and carbon pricing mechanisms like carbon taxes. Like for example, Singapore and Malaysia is also considering that because these can create financial incentives for reducing the carbon emissions and again investing in clean energy.
Yes, that is something very new.
Yes,
Carbon taxes. So I
yeah,
know that there's something called carbon credits that I've talked to companies that do it. Like that means they have to, for example, if they emit a lot of carbon in the US, what they have to do is they have to come and plant trees in in Thailand or something. So that is it's called carbon credits, right? Carbon credits and
Carbon
carbon
credits
tax.
are actually tradable instruments. So it becomes a commodity. So again, it is when you find that you will the financial considerations are the one that take place. So your attitude towards the environment changes.
Yes, it is different times now with ESG and many things. Now I hope Malaysia has a carbon tax soon.
Well, it's good for the economy. It's good for those who are promoting green energy, green fuels. So it helps with companies like ENERGISE.
Thank you. All right. So last question before we go. Thank you for taking the time again. So last question is maybe we have talked about the challenges. We have talked about, what we can do, what companies can do, what the government can do. And last is maybe let's look towards the future, right? So what are you looking forward to in the next maybe 5 or 10 years?
Okay. The world currently is still falling dangerously short of our climate goals. So we have to look into the future in order to meet these goals of slashing carbon pollution, and also at the same time we need to boost finance in the developing world, because in our world right now, these developing countries are actually facing like triple penalty when they transition into green energy, because developing countries they pay more for electricity, and then they can't access clean energy projects, and they are locked into this fossil fuel dependency. So it's like the poverty trap becoming an energy trap, and then becoming a climate trap. So we look forward to breakthroughs and innovations within the renewable energy field to help drive the transition to cleaner and more sustainable energy sources. Sorry?
Oh, no. I just maybe just continue. Yeah, no worries.
I can't see too far in the future, but if you look at the near future, probably within the next 3 to 5 years, there won't be amazing breakthroughs so much, but it's more of an advancement of existing technologies. These are the ones that will pave the way for a more sustainable future, because we can have advanced solar technologies. There'll be breakthroughs in more cost-effective methods of harnessing the solar power. And then again, as I mentioned to you, energy storage solutions, the advancement within that will help. And not to mention the importance of green hydrogen. Hydrogen, which is something we are passionate about. We are producing green hydrogen. Hydrogen is labeled in color through by the way they're produced. So the production methods of hydrogen is labeled by colors, and green hydrogen is 100% clean solution. In solar, in wind, we have also advancements with the wind turbine designs, but we cannot go without touching on energy, internet, and blockchain. There's this concept of energy, internet, and blockchain which enables decentralized energy trading. So these developments in this area you can have grid management, you can have peer-to-peer energy transactions. And the world now has already seen the AI and machine learning effects on us, but this can always be positive for us because it can actually optimize the operations of the REs, renewable energy systems. It improves forecasting, maintenance, and grid stability.
Thank you, Syed. Maybe last question, and this is a question I did not send to Syed before the call, and this is maybe out of my curiosity because hearing you say you mentioned hydrogen and green hydrogen just now, you mentioned solar, and in Malaysia also we have wind. So this relates in my interview 2 weeks ago with the energy consultant. He said Vietnam is working very hard towards getting the wind as another energy source. So maybe give me let me know, like I heard a lot about solar and things like that. So what are the what are the progress of these energies in Malaysia? Is hydrogen leading the way? Because I see a lot of things in Sarawak, and then like what are the progress in these three or maybe other renewable energies?
Oh, you mentioned hydrogen. Of course, it's something that is close to my heart, and especially because early this month, Malaysia launched the Hydrogen Economy and Technology Roadmap (HETR). I think the world realizes the importance of hydrogen, especially green hydrogen. It is the cleanest source of energy, and what makes hydrogen more attractive is the fact that it is something we call an energy carrier, and at the same time, hydrogen, when it's burned, if we compare to fossil fuels, when you burn fossil fuels, you get carbon dioxide or greenhouse emissions. But hydrogen, when you burn hydrogen, you only generate moisture or water as a byproduct. So there are no harmful greenhouse gas emissions. So for this reason, it is an attractive fuel for the future.
Yep, and what is the progress with the other energy sources? I know we have a roadmap now for hydrogen. About the other two.
If you look at solar, yes, we're making great progress. But wind, unfortunately, Malaysia is not. We don't have enough wind.
Bukan bumi di bawah bayu bukan.
Still not enough. But there are advances in technology, in wind turbine technologies, that allows wind to be harnessed more efficiently. But still, it's not. In Malaysia, it's not one of those areas that we're looking at.
Thank you, Syed. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you for sharing your Jackie Chan story. And I learned so much. I think this is one of the few episodes, right, where I reflect back on my science stream education in high school and really learned a lot, like, storing energy, renewable energy. Now I learned so much more today. Thank you, Syed. And please follow him.
My pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much. And yeah, please follow him for the listeners. Please follow him on LinkedIn. That's where he posts. That's how I contacted him. I saw him posting about the hydrogen the hydrogen events, and the hydrogen economic plan and everything. So follow him on LinkedIn. I believe that is where he posts the latest updates on the industry. And yeah, thank you so much, Syed, for sharing with us today.
It is truly my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Bob. Hope to see you again in the near future when things progress much better.
I hope for the best too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.